Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so I sat in gentle meditation before this reading and just blindly chose a few cards. There's an interesting message coming out. And I'm getting the image of actually a flying carpet, like Aladdin's magic carpet. And there's a dare you get on kind of thing, because it's looking like you're going to be challenged to see yourself in a new way, which will ask that there be a letting go, which will ask that there be a letting go. So there's some old funky narrative that's going to get challenged. I can't quite. Seeing yourself in splendor. Okay, seeing yourself in splendor. So the first card out is to blow away the burnt harvest. And this might be part of what's being challenged, is the angel and the devil, the old thinking and the new thinking, the thinking, when actually in the absolute moment, it might be a moment of real connectedness. And so there's kind of a taming of the ego here. And sometimes when we're trying to access this moment, we can get pulled in different directions. And, you know, I know guys watch this channel too, so don't be swayed about. There's another sway. Yeah, lovely. Okay. Is it real? They're the words I'm getting. When so what it's speaking to is kind of old emotional challenging that can really take a hold in that moment where we're trying to come into that center point that's always steady. There's always a steady point within us. And that's going to pull in old narratives or old thinking, or you'll know what yours are. And a good litmus check is this real? As in, can I evidence that this is true? Yeah, and to not kind of labor that too much, because what this is looking like is, will you get on the carpet? I'm not explaining it very well, am I? It's like the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance is just to accept the whole lot, is to accept your fire and maybe your hidden parts, the shame, the hiding. And if the moment is gloomy and can be evidenced, how can you be with that? So what I'm getting here is a kind of moving away from or rectifying. But the thing is still there, and it needs looking at and meeting and integrating with love and acceptance. So this is talking about being in this present here now moment for what is to come. Well, it's there's a kind of, it feels like a promise of something here. It feels like less of a dissemination of parts. Oh, well, I'm taking that forward, I'm leaving that behind. I'm taking that bit forward and I'm leaving that behind. Just sweep the whole lot up with the expectation that the whole field, your whole self is going to be uplifted. You just need to get on this magic carpet, and I don't know what that will look like. It might be daring to think a completely new thought, daring to allow yourself the splendor of being you. Okay, I've got the Aries full moon coming in here, which I missed, and I'll probably miss both eclipses. There's too much going on. And the sentence I tuned in briefly for about 10 minutes to the Aries full moon, and the sentence I got was, I choose this, not this. And it was expressed in a way that allowed the individual to express more uniquely, to express in a way that drops the burden of what that thinks, of what that feels, that drops the responsibility of taking on other people's feelings and reactions to you. So being present for your present moments and really noticing the truth of the present moment might be different, might be diametrically opposed to the funky narrative that might be spinning around. Yeah, there's a real sense of inclusion here. And so you may need a process to include. All shadow work really is about inclusion and integration without shame. And here's where the carpet came in, because this is like this whoosh of, there's so much energy here at the moment. And what are we bringing to that? Are we leaning into that? There's this tiny little flinch there. And it's about removing the mask. It's just like bringing in the higher mind. So listening to your higher voice, connection to your highest voice, rather than being this. Yeah, thank you. This is part of the bifurcation, because we can stay in those old narratives, those old Piscean negatives. Oh, nagging. Okay, that's choice. Absolutely, no shame. Or we can just maybe even go to empty mind. Knowing that you're supported, knowing. I'm really aware that my channeling has changed. I'm just coming up from a 10-day deep initiation, and and it's coming in from a different place. Okay, so I think I mentioned it in my last video. Bear with me, I'm stumbling. Yeah, it's and that 369 wants to complete. It's like, this is as far as you can go in this program, in this experience, in this experiment. I wonder if this is leaning into eclipse season. So now what I can see is really having a conversation with your highest self and collaborating proactively. Right. I want to believe this about myself. I want to believe in something. It's about birthing a new belief, and keep it small. Just go one belief to start with and give that energy and nurture that and give that energy and nurture that. And then slowly the mind turns, the neuroconnectors build, and it becomes an automatic subconscious program. Splendor. Splendor. So you have support. Know that to begin with. You have support. And this is what we do to ourselves. Huh. Wow. Okay, yeah. Parading our magnificence on a stage rather than integrating it and being it, becoming it. It's almost like it's conditional. It feels conditional. I'm just noticing the big pause that's opening up. There's a big pause with this, and there's nothing in it. A big pause and nothing in it. Okay, so I'm going to go to, I'm not going there. I'm going here. See if we can speak to this pause. I'm out of alignment with my cards. It all feels everything feels so weird, different, weird. Yeah. Okay. So the clarifier for this pause to do with integrity is to clean it up. Do you know what I want to do? I want to cut this card along this line and put this bit on top and let it fly. And then watch what happens to the part of her that thinks she needs to control this. Yeah. No place like home, but today this is expressing as it's safer in the knowing of what I already know. I think that's what the gap is. And I think the gaps might be increasing to really challenge how much of our mind is searching for answers, and how much of our mind can just sit in the moment. If the moment is empty, to sit in that without this need to create something, be something, just driving the mind. It's just to sit in the emptiness. That might be the answer. Is to sit in the emptiness. Okay, let's continue these messages, please. Put that back there. Not speaking. What does want to speak? The gap. Right. Okay. I'll show you what I'm seeing. So we're in Libra season, which wants balance, harmony, justice, fairness. So one of the things I work with clients is when they're stuck in polarity. So if we go tick cross, so there's the polarity. I can, but I can't. But I can, but I can't. But I can, but I can't. What we do is we take a point up here. And triangulate. As soon as we triangulate, something new comes in. The what if comes in. Okay, so it's okay to be in these. We can integrate both. That's polarity. We live in polarity. So when we triangulate that, we draw a blueprint. This is the first solid shape. We invite the light in that 3. We invite in the creation of something new. Yeah, wow. So it's like 2 people creating a baby. The baby is the triangulation of these 2 genetic lines. The baby is something new that's never been created before. It's a blend of these 2 sets of DNA and holds both. So we can hold the dissonance of the yes and the no and triangulate it with the what if. What if I am splendid? There's one. Yeah, but yeah. Gosh. There's a mirror with this. There's a mirror with this. It's the mirror of what's looking back at you as you're looking out, what's looking back at you. And in there's caution about, let's call it spiritual codependency, about being identified, defined by the external world. Because all of that external definition isn't who you came here to be. Not all of it. Some of it will ping the system and you'll know that that's true because you'll get the somatic response if you're doing somatic work, if you know your body's resonance if you know how to get to your inner truth. And so I guess the message is to be mindful of what's looking back at you. If you're staring into the void, know that the void is staring back at you. So be careful what you put in there. That's direct contact. I want to put that behind that. So it's staring back through the gateway. As you stare into the void is staring back at you. Mm. 1313. Death and rebirth. It's coming to the truth of it. It's coming to the truth of it. Yeah, medicine wheel kind of speaks for itself. And again, if you overlay that onto that, it's the directions. There's a centeredness here. It feels very quiet and there's a centeredness here. Oh, look at this. There's a lot of Scorpio energy here. Okay, so we have the head and tail of the serpent. I know technically there are two heads on this one, but so is this, yeah. Bear with me, guys. So I'm not getting any messages now. None at all. I'm sitting in my lack of fluency. It's like I'm learning a new language. Yeah. Okay. Let's bring this down a little bit. With all growth, there is sacrifice. And it might be the sacrifice of a stream of consciousness that pleases or that takes responsibility. Anything, any old narratives that belong in the past. And maybe this whole reading is about when you let go, there'll be this space. There's so much space in here. There is just the moment. It's the moment. It's the moment. Do you know what? I think it's as simple as, can you find some time to sit in silence and let happen what's going to happen? One card's flipped. Goodness sake. A Libra. What else for Libra? Happy birthday, Librans. Yeah. All this balance. You know what? Okay, it's all coming out now. Right. I'm just going to read the underlying story here. The underlying story is to do with balance. It's to do with balance and where your energy goes. Because it might be going there as the moon reveals. That might not know how to map to the new. And that's the gap. So we're going beyond the subconscious here. That's the gap. Thank you. I don't know what this is. Okay. So watch me blunder because I don't know what this is. That's a kind of holding energy. Hold your energy. So there's going to be this little mental wobble going on as we start looking at the balance of that polarity, where my energy goes, where does life flow, what do I support, what do I not support, which might trigger that. But sitting in the energy will take you into, it's like the spiritual will comes into the solar plexus. The spiritual will comes into the solar plexus because you've jumped on the magic carpet. You've no idea where it's going to go or what it's going to ask of you. Okay, so that's the underlying, the top story. So again, the 6 speaks to harmony and balance in the physical world. It may question your value statements. It may be literally to do about money. How am I speaking? To do about? How am I speaking? I'm in a weird space. Yeah, it also speaks to give and take. It's the balance of the scales, isn't it? And it's Libra's 7th house of relationships. That's going to speak to relationship material, the relationships. Give and take. Are they in fairly equal balance? Is there imbalance in there? That can also speak to how much time do you give to your connection to spirit, your connection to your higher self. Okay. Hangman, look at it differently. Some pause energy coming in here. Right, so we have the world wrapping up a cycle, just coming out with the Fool. Yeah, this is flying blind. Seven of Pentacles, keep feeding the earth, keep feeding. Okay. That might trigger self-defeat, self-deceit, and self-defeat. The impatience might bring in some nasty narrative. It's happening. Temperance. Look at this major arcana here. The Fool, the World, the Sun, the Hanged Man. It's a big shift. There's a really big shift going on. I think it's about flying blind in the pause. Flying blind in the pause. Letting go of needing to know. Having a plan, even. It's very beautifully vague. Flying blind. In the pause. Okay. So, bring this right down and then we'll wrap up with the abundance deck. Okay, 2-3 messages, please, for the collective. Clarity and focus. Thank you. Oh, this Libra energy. To be fair and exchanging gifts. Yeah, this is, those two cards are echoing the Six of Pentacles. They're asking about what is the balance? Where do you take too much? Where do you give too much? Where is the balance? So it's like it's pulling us out of the material realm. Yeah. I'm being shut up. Being shut up. By the book. Come to the edge. Yang. Yeah. Come to the edge. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up. And guys, I think the next few readings might be laboriously vague, because that's what's here. It's space. It's space. That was interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Training for the metaphysical. Underlying card is sacrifice again. So we have 2 sacrifice cards. Might be as simple as sacrifice your need to know, or your need to understand, or your need to be able to explain it and look clever in the eyes of someone else. Look like you know it all. Nah, just be a fool. Just be a fool. So, following the signs, what do you see? Instincts are the message from the inner divine. Yeah, listen for that inner pulse. Maybe a day off comms, maybe a day without tech. Wow. God. Okay, I'm going to bring these two together because they're going to be part of the picture. Because we have a revealing moon. Okay, I choose this, I don't choose that. Aries speaks to personal authority, leadership, self-managing leadership. And I might be letting go of some things and that might trigger grief. So be with that rather than buttercreaming it. No buttercream, just be with that. Because it's a beautiful connection. So this is speaking to unity consciousness, non-duality, liberation, non-duality, true offering. The doubts and fears still come up. You don't believe anymore that they're you. That's a complete shift. Non-duality, let your authentic humanity shine forth while also bowing to the inner divine. You can become fluent at doing both. That's beautiful. True offering takes what can be an unbearable cross and returns it to love. Yeah. Yeah, that's the basis of shadow work. Is to raise all of the moral injury, the shame, the guilt, the fear, the sorrow, the loss, back up to love. Raise it to the light and love it. Yeah, that's divine abundance. Yeah. Okay. So watch out for the crazy. It might literally here now look like there's nothing happening. It might look like that. And so the busy, fractured mind might look for something to do, to create, to be, identify. There's nothing really strong on the table to identify with. It's just the moment. That's all we have here is the moment. It's that moment. And that's it. I'm going to leave it there. I thank you for being here. As difficult as this is, I'm finding it quite difficult. I'm staying with it because I've no idea. I've no idea anymore about anything. I'm being silly. Right. I'm going to leave you with my love. Thank you for being here. Please like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment, and I'll see you all again soon. Take care. Bye.